Alright people, thanks for tuning in to the Red Mancunian. I'm Adam, and I just wanted to pop another video out there, seeing as though my match day vlog from the Liverpool game had an epic fail in terms of all my videos getting corrupt. I did post a little clip out of the end of the video just so I could send a link to the new channel, and quite a few people have actually subscribed, left comments and watched the video, so I just want to say thank you for the comments, the support and helping me get this channel off the ground. Still a few little bits I've got to finish up on the actual channel. The artwork and everything should be finished up this week, and looking a bit more professional, to be honest. It's looking a bit bland at the moment, but yeah, I just wanted to pop this other video out because I just wanted to go over what was actually going to be happening this week. Tomorrow is Crystal Palace away. As we all know, United are struggling a little bit after Sunday's game against Liverpool with the injuries, and just there is a slight concern in the air. You can feel it amongst a lot of United fans in terms of how this game is going to go with the injuries that we've got. What's the team going to be? Who is going to play? Are any of the youth players going to come through? I can see a few maybe making the bench. Personally, I can't see any of them getting a start because we still do have quite a few players to bring in. Also, before I get deep into it, happy birthday to Ollie today, 46 today. I tweeted out earlier on, happy birthday to the greatest manager at Manchester United over the last 6 years, obviously, because we have had some absolute carnage over the last few years in terms of managers and how we've been playing, and just the whole vibe around the club because of the managers and how they've been. Prime example this week now, can you imagine under the reigns of Van Gaal and Mourinho if all these injuries were on their toes while they had the club, while they were in charge? Can you imagine the vibe of this week going into these games now with Crystal Palace and Southampton? The excuse would have already been out. We've been waiting since the Liverpool game for Ollie to actually come out and give us the news on the injuries. I guarantee it, under the previous managers, that would have already been put in place as an excuse in case something goes wrong in the game against Palace. All we heard from Van Gaal and Mourinho for months on end, week after week, was this player's injured, this player's injured, we're struggling with this and that, excuse, excuse, excuse. Ollie, straight out of the box, we'll have 11 players playing on that pitch, playing for Manchester United against Crystal Palace. Boom, nipped in the bud straight away. It's not an issue, we've got a big enough squad, and that going into the game sets a different tone altogether. And the players are going in there now thinking, instead of, or the managers said, we're going to be struggling here because we've got this many players out and this and that, excuse, we can't play the right way, we can't play this system, that system, it's hampering us, all that bollocks. With Ole, it's not even there, we're not even thinking about it. Yeah, we're all concerned about certain players because it is an obscene amount of first class players that all went down in one bleeding game. If one before it, 3 in it, added to a couple of injuries that was already there, and that's the only reason that the topic of injuries is actually up, because it all happened so quickly. But if you listen to it from Ollie's side of it, the positivity coming straight out from Ole Solskjaer through the club is, we'll be ready for the game against Palace. The players that are coming in are going to be ready for the game. They're going to be slotted straight into the same style of play. They're going to implement the plan exactly the same way as the players that would have been there before that are now injured. So for me, going into the Crystal Palace game, yes, it is a tough game. Notoriously, it always has been a tough ground for us. For some reason, the last 3 seasons now, we've had Palace in the midweek game. But the last 2 seasons we've come through. Last season was an epic comeback, 3-2. Season before, I think it was a last minute Zlatan goal. So the games have always been exciting. It is going to be tense, tight. I can't see us running away with the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did win by a few goals with Ole Solskjaer in charge and the way we're playing. I'm excited to see how he lines up. I mean, at the back, I think we've got enough cover. I don't think at the back is going to be an issue at all. And under Ole, our backline has been absolutely immense. It's the best defence in the league since Ole Solskjaer's took charge, and we're coming up to nearly 3 months in charge now. This isn't a short space of time, and it's going unnoticed. A few people have actually said it this week, but 3 injuries in the first time against Liverpool and their front three, and we all know Liverpool didn't get a sniff on Sunday, and that only now has brought it out into the public eye, in my opinion, about how good defensively United have been since Ole's took charge. So at the back, no issue at all. I would keep the same back four. A few people have said to cover up in midfield, why not bring in Lindelof into the holding role at the back? He'd done it for Sweden before. Personally, me, I wouldn't bring him out the back four. Difference in opinion to a lot of other people, I know, but him and Smalling built up a good partnership even under Mourinho, and for me, I don't want that partnership splitting up. So your back four for me, I would definitely play Young at right back, definitely to counteract the pace and speed of their fullbacks and the likes of Zaha going forward, because they do have some pace. Wan-Bissaka, I mean, Schlupp, they're all quick players, and we all know Young, he's not a world-class player, but when you put him you put him to task to mark someone out of the game. We've seen it with Salah. He's done it numerous times, took the best people. He did it with Hazard against Chelsea. Young's a definite for me. Smalling, Lindelof, obviously De Gea, and then Luke Shaw on the left. Back four does not change. Now, midfield is where the biggest issue is going to be, obviously. Obviously, mainstay Pogba. So there's one of the three. I don't think we're going to change formation too much, although that could change through the game. So Pogba's one. We have got midfielders there. McTominay came in and did an half-decent job against Liverpool, but that was more of a containment job. Is McTominay up to the challenge of actually stepping up to the mark in terms of the other side of the game, where you're having to create against a smaller team who are going to be stubborn and defend against you, when you're all expected to be the ones who are creating the chances rather than holding off one of the top teams in the league like he did against Liverpool? He's also had a good game against Hazard in the past against when we played Chelsea and done a good job, but it's the other side of it. When the pressure's on, midweek, away from home, small compact ground, you're not going to get much time on the ball. Has he got what it takes to do it? I don't know. So you look to other options, and that's where we're sort of struggling. Pereira has struggled this year when he's been in, although again he didn't do a too bad a job against Liverpool, but the crowd were right behind him on that game on Sunday. They were behind from the minute go, and it's going away from home again, tight ground again, like I said, Selhurst Park on a Wednesday night. They're on top here, the atmosphere is there, and it's not the best pitch in the world, so you're going to have to be quick on your feet again. Is that going to hamper his chances of playing? Personally, I think Pereira should play. I think he should be one of the three. It's now the third midfielder where I think the big issue is going to be, because Fred has really not lit it up this year. I've wanted him to do well so many times. I've backed him all the way, but when he has come into the team, he really has not been able to cope with the pressures of playing for Manchester United or in the Premier League. There's been signs there on Old Trafford days when the pressure's not been as bad, but again, I keep going back to this Selhurst Park, and this is a crucial game. We've come through a sticky patch of, well, not so much a sticky, but a hard patch of games recently, and we've got through it reasonably well. But now these games are just as important. Now we've done a bit of the groundwork against the big teams, and we're still in the top four chase, we're still in the FA Cup. The Champions League might be a bit of a push, but now these smaller games are even more important to back up the hard work that we did in the big games. So for me, that midfield three, I'm still undecided. I cannot make my mind up at who comes in. People have even said bring Phil Jones into a holding role. For me, I would not play Phil Jones in any position in Man United. Everyone knows all too well I don't think Phil Jones is good enough for United in any position. So I'm taking Jones straight out of the equation. As harsh as that sounds, yeah, maybe he could do a job, but I don't think this is the game for Jones. Not in midfield, not with their fast forward thinking players, because they have got some quick thinking young midfield players at Crystal Palace that can cause us a problem. So going through the midfield, my midfield, and I'm worried about it, but my midfield three would be Pogba, Fred and Pereira. God, that's a frightening thought, because it's still early in the day and I don't know what injury news. Ollie's having his press conference now as we speak, and I'm not sure who is actually fit. Obviously, if the actual injuries are not as bad as first thought, the midfield three would obviously be Herrera, Matic and Pogba. That would be in the ideal world, but I don't think it's going to go that way, so I'm looking at the other side of it in terms of that. Going forward to the front line, we do have options up front. It's not as bad as what people are actually making out. We do have the likes of Lukaku. God, I know how bad it sounds, but he is a striker, and he didn't have the worst game against Liverpool. I know he set up a couple of chances for Smalling and Lindelof. I still don't think he does enough off the ball, and he does an awful lot of moaning that people don't see. When you're there at the ground, you can see his moaning, his attitude and the way he moves around, but he's a striker and we need him. He has bagged goals before. The Premier League pedigree for goal scoring is there, obviously, but he needs to start stepping up to the mark. I'm still not going to forgive him for the 3 or 4 months that he's gone missing this season, but certain games can help his credit go back up at United. If he can pull us out the bag with a winner against Crystal Palace, then yeah, that's what he should be doing from the start. But again, there's one striker. Rashford, we don't know. He played the whole game against Crystal Palace. He played the whole game against Liverpool. We know he was injured. Again, we're waiting for news from Ollie in terms of who he's actually going to play and who is actually fit. So Rashford would obviously be an obvious one. Sanchez is free there now. Sanchez has to play. It's Sanchez and Lukaku, both injury free. There's 2 straight away. Martial, I'm not sure how far away he is. He has been back in training, as we know, so there is a chance Martial could come in. Again, Ollie's having his presser and we're not sure, but there are other options there. We don't know how bad Mata is. We don't know the likes of Herrera or anything yet, although they are being talked about right now. But being there on Sunday and seeing the way them players walked off, I haven't got my hopes up. But the Pogba could easily play a forward role in this game. Again, the formation could change, but then again, I do think young players are going to come through, and could one of them slot into the front three? You just don't know. But what the main point is I'm getting across from this video is, even with all the injuries that we have got, the positivity for me is still there, simply because Ollie's at the wheel. And the way he's talking and the way he's going through, and it's coming across on the pitch as well. You can see everything he's implementing actually coming out onto the pitch, and that's what gives me the confidence that we can actually get into Selhurst Park, get a result and get out of there, move on to Southampton at weekend, and maybe a couple of the players could be back for Southampton. So to round up the video in terms of what I think is actually going to happen, I do think we're going to get the win. It's not going to be a sail all the way through the game. Don't forget, Crystal Palace are dealing with 2 games in a week as well this week, so that's not the norm for Crystal Palace. So they're obviously going to be a bit wary, and they're not going to be full of beans. They're not going to be at full fitness for playing at weekend as well. So that's got to be taken into consideration. So if you had offered me a midweek, sorry, cut off for a second there. Someone actually rang my phone, which I'm filming on right now. So yeah, going back to quickly what I was going on about there was, if you offered me Crystal Palace on a weekday after they played the weekend before, I'd definitely snap your hand off at that, for the fact that they're not going to have a full week's preparation to prepare for us if we was playing them on a weekend. So take that into consideration as well. We're not the only ones who are going to be a bit fatigued, and we do still have the positivity of having a decent squad and time for these fringe players to actually make the mark. And I do think Ole will get it in their heads that you're playing for Manchester United now. Chances don't come along often to get in this team. If you want to be playing at the top level and playing at United standard, then you really need to start making your mark, and this may be your chance. I do think that is going to be the sort of message that Ole gets across, and for that reason I'm going for a 2-0 win for United against Crystal Palace. Like I said, it won't be a walk in the park. I do think it'll be tight, but I'm confident we can get the win, and I'm confident we can move on to Saturday against Southampton in a really good position, because don't forget Spurs are playing Chelsea on Wednesday as well, and then Spurs are at home to Arsenal. So we just have to get through Crystal Palace and Southampton with wins. We're in the top 4. It's simple as that, because I cannot see Arsenal picking anything up at Spurs, especially after the result they had against Burnley and wanting to come back and hit back. God knows how they're going to get on at Chelsea. That's just a whirlwind of a football club at the moment, so don't know. But a win against Crystal Palace, a win against Southampton, then we're in the top 4 again. We've solidified our top 4 position. We're moving into the back end of the season, less than 10 games to go then. So yeah, for me, we're winning tomorrow night against Palace. 2-0 I'm going for, and the positivity will continue. I'm not sure if I'm actually at the game or not yet. I have got a ticket, but work commitments at home and travelling down to London might not be doable. Also, I won't be doing a preview to the Southampton game. I'll probably just be match vlogging that Southampton game, but I will be on the United stand with Mark on Thursday night doing the preview to the Southampton game also. If you guys, I appreciate if you tuned in and give me some feedback. That'll be my first time doing the live preview show with the United stand. And again, thanks for helping me get this channel off the ground, guys. All your comments and support and likes are much appreciated. I wasn't sure whether or not to do this or not, but the feedback I'm getting so far has been really good, and I'm just looking forward to talking to more United fans. If you see me at the ground, come and say hello. If I'm not going crazy about something, that is. And you might even sneak on the video with me celebrating at one of the games. I know a few people commented at the Liverpool game what I was doing, but yeah, that video epically failed, as I said at the start. So yeah, give the video a like, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you think we're going to get on against Crystal Palace. Give the channel a subscribe as well if you like the content and you want me to move forward doing more of this sort of thing. I'm going to be at more and more games from now on. Obviously still doing the fan cams with United Stand and Flex, and hopefully more shows on the United Stand, like the preview show I'm doing on Thursday night with Mark as well on the United Stand. So hopefully I'll be speaking to you guys maybe at the Crystal Palace game, definitely after it, with a verdict on how everything's gone. Hopefully I'm right and we do come away with the 3 points. That's the most important thing. So again, thanks for watching the video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Give me some feedback, comment below, and I will see you after the Crystal Palace game. Speak to you soon.